SN001.
Wait, say it again?
SN001.
Outstanding.
First one to go out.
Cool. Good morning. It's about 7 a.m. on a Friday. We are heading to Tool, Texas. Got the trailer all hooked up. We're going to get us a smoker. Okay, here we go. So it's about a 2.5 hour trip from my home in Anderson, and I arrived just before 10 a.m. The M&M staff were super friendly, showed me around. I got to see a lot of projects they're working on, a few ready to be delivered. And then you can see they had 2 Smoke Kings, and of course the lunch of choice for a Smoke King definitely is a crown roast. And that was a good looking lunch. Did I say they were friendly there? It's unreal. This is Matt and Mike, the 2 owners, loading my smoker onto my trailer. I mean, not only did the owners do this, once they got it on there, they helped me strap it down. Actually, they strapped it down. So these guys were extremely friendly, helpful, answered every question I had, spent as much time as needed with me. And once we had it loaded, I wanted to stick around, try some of that crown roast, but what I really wanted was to get my smoker home and set up. So off we went. Well, here we are in Anderson, and we're in my backyard. We've got the new smoker here. It's off the trailer. We got it set up. I haven't built a fire in it yet. Haven't done anything other than just put it here. Unfortunately, I've got to put it here in the grass for now because I'm having some work done in my outdoor kitchen. I'm going to try to get a concrete slab put in place so I have a good level place to put all my cooking equipment. But we're set up. I haven't built a fire in it yet. I kind of wanted to walk through some of the features with you and just give you a good look at it before we start firing it up. So let's go. So this Texas Smoke King is 92 inches long with a height of 84 inches. And it's 30 inches deep. The cook chamber is, the grate inside is 50 inches by 24 inches. So just over 4 by 2. It's the same grill space of the Goldees model as well. The smokestack is made of 5.5 inch pipe, 1/4 inch steel, and is 4 feet tall, 48 inches high. Firebox, pretty looking door here.
So you want to keep it open? So like we tell everybody with the new 5-inch stack, you have full option. You can do complete old school cooking if you want to just crack it. But it runs beautifully with just your damper if you want to leave your door closed and however much oxygen you want to get it. If you think you want more, you can just crack your door a little bit.
So they were telling me up there they just love to run at 275. That's just kind of sweet spot, which is good. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, and then
250, 275, I think it stays. 250, 275, I think it stays.
The pin system, like we tell everybody, the way I start, where she'll be real happy, is I invest 30 minutes, 45 minutes, burn down 2, 3, 4 logs, get you a healthy coal bed, and then you'll only be having to feed a stick or so at a time.
Yeah. So with the door, you can control the airflow just by moving this a little bit, a lot, or you can open the door. Good size firebox, and you can see the opening. Hopefully you can see it back in the back there. We'll talk about the opening into the smoke chamber here in a minute. Door is extremely heavy, well built. Comes off with a couple of pins here, so you can easily lift this off. There's a couple of washers here that fit under it, and if you need to take the door off for any reason. Walk around the back here. The whole thing is built with 1/4 inch steel, so it's rugged. It's going to last for a while. This is, to me, like something that's going to be passed down through the family. On this end, we've got the smokestack.
Yeah. And then you'll learn where she's happy. So this is what we developed on our big one. Close. If you want to teach anybody to cook on it, you can tell them position 2, and it's 20 degrees. 40 degrees. So,
Really?
Yeah, that way if you're leaning or anything, It can't move and close on you. You can run it wide open, all the way back and shut. Really, really simple system. That way there's, you know, less guessing in it. And you'll start to learn, hey, it flows a lot better. I like to run it this at 40-50%.
With a neat little control here, if you're familiar with the Goldees model, they had put markings here when you were like 25% open, 50% open, 75, so you can kind of see, you know, easily mark where you were. What they've done now is created settings here. So this is totally closed to the far right, and the way he was telling me was that each movement is about a 20-degree difference in the chamber temperature-wise, and you can go to fully closed to all the way open. Easy as pie. Got their logo here, and they promised me to send me a couple of things. One, they're going to send me the Texas King logo when they're finished cutting those, and also a serial marker to put on here. And again, this is number 1001. We got the M&M thermostat here. Got good storage underneath, and let me show you the wheels. The wheels are good too. They don't do well on grass, but this isn't designed to be rolled along on grass. But on a flat surface, concrete and such, it's pretty good. Also, the grease drain. So let's get to the inside and the fun stuff. The door, fairly easy to open, well balanced. It's got good hinges on it. The standard M&M hinges that they developed. These are basically the same ones they use on their 1,000-gallon models. And that's a good point to bring up here. So what you see in this backyard pit has taken the best of what the M&M has learned supporting restaurants and larger pits and platforms, that they've brought down to a smaller version that we can take advantage of at home. Specifically, here's one part of that, and this is the heat distribution coming in from the fire chamber.
Okay, so sorry. This is after on final release now, so no one's seen this yet. We have our double entry system, which is essentially made it you can cook from firewall to complete end. But since it is an upper opening, we have put a new system in here now that if you're cooking flat, small things, you know, your heat's not going to get singed here. But if you want to cook, because we cook literally 7 briskets in here. But we learned in our prototyping that if you're tall, it'll get a little crispy here. So we put you a little baffle that this goes up, and it's a 25-degree block that just kicks up. So if you want to do brisket, pork butts, anything thicker up here, it deflects that heat beautifully. You can still utilize all your food. Okay. Really, really simple. Just choose which one you want to cook before cooking. Just a little hook right around that corner. You got to stand as far as it's on there.
So if you're doing a brisket test or you're cooking wings, you probably want it down. If you're cooking a pork butt, put it up. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you're not gonna have any problem with ribs, thighs, wings, anything. We've done biscuit tests, chicken thighs, wings, all right here, right underneath it. Yeah, you'll learn it. The only, I would say, warm spot is gonna be like right here when the heat finally comes out here.
Okay. Which is just like the Goldees, basically.
Yeah, well, when I say warm, it won't be a hot spot. It's just simply from the heat raising out here. You'll learn. Cook, you know, like anyone, I recommend anyone. Go fire it up, throw a bunch of biscuits in it. You'll learn it, you get a feel for it. Like I say, the only thing you'll see is probably a little more browning right here. And I mean, it's that much.
You'll see it's basically split, top and bottom, so it's going to bring in smoke and gases and heat from the firebox and kind of split it. And when it gets down to this end, this is the going out through the stack. Now, there was a delay in my getting this. It took about a week, because what they told me, and I'll show you on the video, Matt was talking about this, is what they found was if you have your grill in place here, and you're cooking wings, or you're cooking anything, you know, short, wings, ribs, that type of thing, then this worked great. Hot air was going to go right over it with the smoke. But if you're cooking something here like a pork butt or a brisket, something that's going to be higher, the heat was kind of searing the top of it. So what they did is they created this neat little tool that you can lift up, and it locks into place right here. And what it does is it blocks the air coming out. Doesn't block it, it redirects it higher to where it's going to flow, you know, above the meat instead of just roasting the top of that pork butt. So this register system that you see, the heat distribution, is a patent that they hold, and this is the exact same one they use for their 1,000-gallon, their much larger platforms that they have reduced down to size for us. Now, speaking of which, this is the 100-gallon version of the pit. They are planning to release a 160-gallon, so kind of a larger backyard version if you must. I'm sure some restaurants will probably take advantage of that one too. They had originally built 10 of these. When they announced the release of it, I think they said 30 minutes they were sold out. Luckily, I had reached out to Mike and had already reserved one, but the other 9 went in within 30 minutes. So the next production model should be coming out in a few weeks, so they'll have another set of inventory for you. And then I think they said it's going to be a couple of months at least before we see the 160-gallon version. So that's a quick overview. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. I'm going to build a few fires in it. What I want to do is let me build a small fire, charcoal base first, put some wood on it, and see if I can run it, in a cold smoke mode, keep it down to about 200 degrees, see how that works. Then we'll let that run that way for an hour or so just to test, and then bring it up to about 275, do a biscuit test, and then after that we'll pull them off, and I've got a bunch of wings. We'll throw some wings on there too and see how it runs. Okay, be back in a few. So I got my charcoal chimney here filled with lump charcoal. A couple of nests down here we're going to light, get this started. I'll move them back a bit. We got a nice big piece there. Okay, we got a good coal bed in there, so I'm going to take a piece of post oak, and again we're going to emulate kind of trying to do a cold smoke, try to keep it about 200 or under. So I'm just going to lay this, work it into the coals, shut the door, and lock that down with just a little bit of opening, a little bit of air coming through. And then for the chimney, I'm not gonna lock it down all the way, but I'm gonna open it just a little bit there, and you can see, look at the smoke coming out of there already. Hopefully you can see that. Get them around here. There we go. So we're about 30 minutes into it. It's sticking at 175. I opened up the draft a little bit on the stack, and it has been staying at 175 for a good 20-30 minutes, just letting it sit. Now remember, I built the fire to be a smoldering fire. There's no airflow between the wood and the coals, so that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I can cold smoke sausage. I can put a brisket out here to get some smoke for a good, maybe 4 to 6 hours before bumping it up to 275. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's switch the fire around and see if we can bump it up, and let's do a quick biscuit test. Okay, so as you can see, we got a small flame going in there. I've got the piece that I laid down to smolder is right there in the middle. I'm going to move it over to the right, and then take another couple of pieces and lay up against it with some airflow underneath and we'll get a real fire started. Let's see. That's some good smoke. There we go. So I'm going to leave the door open for a bit, let that fire go, let it get started well, and then we'll lock it down, see how quick it comes up to like 275 or so. So you might be able to see through the door there, the fire's running well. It's caught well. I have the door situated wide open, basically letting a lot of air through there. And then I've got the stack at about 50%. And you see it's drawing very well. Temperature wise, we're looking at, it's about 260, 265 right now. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna spray, the grates have been oiled, but I'm gonna spray them down one more time with some canola oil just to make sure nothing sticks. Ooh, that can is hot. It's sitting in the sun. Okay. Here's our biscuits. We're going to start in that back corner and work our way back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start from this end and work the other way to make sure we got good coverage. Okay, I got 4 more, so I'm gonna stack some here where they said there was going to be a warm spot, just to kind of check that. Put some through the center here. We can actually try this between the grates as well. Okay, here we go. Let me close this up, give it about 20 minutes, come back and see how it looks. Okay, so it's been just a little over 20 minutes. And here's what we got. So the tops look pretty even. Hang on, let me switch hands here. Internal temp on this one, about 185, 178, 182 here in the corner, 182. Let's try up here. Okay, it's a little hotter. That's about 200. The warm spot is about 200. 200. 201. Boy, I can feel that hot air coming out right here. So back here we're looking at like low 180s, 200 up here, midpoint, mid 190s, 198, 191. Let's check the bottoms here. Looking pretty good. Okay, so we are seeing a little bit of fluctuation back here. So this is, let's compare back to front. So this one's in the back, this one's in the same position in the front. Let me get these out of the way here. So there's the one in the back, in the front. This is the one in the back, still soft. A little bit of fluctuation, but you know what? That could be me and inexperience, but I mean, it stayed pretty consistent at about 260 the whole time. I did put another log on it, but it didn't affect the temperature. I didn't open anything up or anything. So overall, I'm happy with it. I'm gonna need to do a few more tests to kind of check this again, but there's a lot of room here to cook on, even these ones in the midpoint. Well, that's interesting. Look at that. This was over the grate. This was over the 2 bars in the middle, so you see less heat was getting there to finish that off. This one should be pretty good, and it is. That one's perfect. So, okay, well, there's a quick biscuit test. So next up, let's try some chicken wings.